Welcome to my podcast studio here on site at the AI Week 2025. I'm really looking forward to the conversation. Let's go. Tian, welcome to AI Week Frankfurt 2025. Glad to have you here. I hope you had a great presentation, great time on stage. You just came off stage talking about innovation with AI. Maybe just to get started, can you briefly share a little bit of information about you? So, what's your role? How do you get into your role? And what excites you about AI?
My honor to be invited to the AI Week. It's always a great opportunity to be together with like-minded people because I really think this is an effort that is or the change of what AI bring is impacting all of us, and it's opportunity for all of us. And when we are formulating a community together, we are much more supported for each other, and then we can find the path much easier. So really appreciate to be invited. My role at Zalando, I have different parts of the roles that I work on daily. I have a management role that lead a team. I work on innovating for our customers in the core discovery journey. So ranging from the classic one, personalized recommendation or search engine when you come to Zalando, how you find what you want. So that's more the classic discovery journey. And we also have a new discovery journey. One of it is a Zalando assistant. You can have a conversation with it.
I saw that.
Yes, it has the knowledge of fashion, of lifestyle, of products at Zalando. And then it also understand the world. Understand, for example, if you ask a question like, what should I wear to AI Week in Frankfurt this week, it will be able to really help you understand what's the social norm and then what's the appropriate things to wear. At the same time, it will tailor to your feedback. If you say, I want this and that, it will take that feedback and iterate with you, just like the very helpful store associate or your fashion savvy friend. So that's one example of the new discovery. We also have new discovery around trends. So trend-led discovery, live streaming as well, and some of this more inspirational feeds, which is currently at our landing page, where you can see a lot of content, a lot of product information, and it's tailored to you, personalized to you, and it's dynamically real-time adjust for you.
Really cool.
Yeah.
That sounds extremely interesting. Like, it sounds a really cool job, actually. How do you get into that role?
Zalando called me and said, we are a very awesome company. Would you like to consider a career? Actually, they are very modest. They called me and shared a very interesting role, which is this personalization discovery domain. I think first the way they phrase it is very modest. At the same time, this amazing European company has been quietly really changing the way people discover fashion and shopping online. So I immediately got interested. And this role also is very core for the business, important for customer. So I didn't see many of the potential roles that interesting on the job market, and then I really got attracted to the company.
And I mean, you already mentioned some of the things that you're working on. I mean, it's heavily related also to machine learning and AI. And just out of curiosity, what is it that makes you excited about AI? So what are the things that you find interesting about this technology?
I think it really help us solve problems that we don't think can be really solved without it. So, for example, Zalando assistant I just described, without this conversational AI, without the understanding of the world knowledge, without the deep understanding of fashion, lifestyle, and understanding of the product, the discovery of fashion, of product is very, to say, mechanical. It's you go to some of these traditional e-commerce website, you get a whole toolbox. You get clicking everywhere for categories. You have to have the right search word input to get what you want. And many times you don't know what's the right search word. You only have an idea in your mind. You have to use the filter in the right way. So it's almost like a toolbox for people to learn how to use. And they have to work around it. They go to Google to find out what's the right word to search. And then they go to their e-commerce website to search the right word. And if they find this is not what they want, they need to go back to do their research. Maybe where did it went wrong? How can I find it? So that's just one example. Without the technology advancement of conversational AI, world knowledge, the discovery journey is a very
mechanical. It's actually, I totally subscribe to that. So also recently, I was not looking for fashion, but other product, and I actually went on the e-com site. I searched, so I didn't really find it, and then I got back to Google and typed in the search word together with the name of the store, and then actually Google found the page I was looking. So it's kind of strange how people are operating in this. So I mean, you already mentioned that, like this aspect that certain kinds of things would not be possible without AI. So this is one question that I really like to ask. Do you think that AI is under or overrated as a technology? I know there's a lot of depth to that question, but I would be interested in your thoughts about this.
I think everybody, what's interesting nowadays is AI is such a common concept. Everybody has an opinion. And then different people have a different diverse opinion about where AI is. So to some people, it's overhyped. For some people, it's underhyped. But I think AI is solving problems that we couldn't imagine solving before. It's a science fiction. If you read some of the science fiction 10 years, 20 years ago, you see them coming true. At the same time, AI is not able to solve every problem we have at this moment. So it's not a silver bullet. I would say we should have a pretty good calibrated understanding of what AI can do, what AI cannot do. It's neither just a shining object nor a silver bullet. And that's where I think the most important opportunity for every business who is trying to solve their customer problem is the right adoption for it. AI is not perfect at this moment, may not be perfect ever because it's probabilistic. So, but at the same time, it can be very helpful already without perfection.
I recently had also a discussion about this topic. People, I mean, the probabilistic nature of the technology. I mean, it's inherent in the architecture of the models. But then, like somebody was probably correctly arguing that a human brain is also from time to time a bit probabilistic in the type of things we say. We do not repeat us 100% exact at the time. Our opinions can change and shift over time. So I thought that was quite an interesting argument to that discussion. How
Maybe I think that's a part of it's a very interesting observation. Maybe that's a part of what intelligence is really about.
Absolutely, it could be, right? Because I also don't fully subscribe to that idea that an AI always has to 100% accurately repeat itself, kind of like a parrot, because this is also what you cannot expect from a human being. And I think that people maybe also try to put AI into this category of a computer. I mean, it is actually a software that's running on a computer, but people expect that it should be behaving in exactly that same way, and everything outside of that thought context is not really working or something like that.
I think the machine people are familiar with are deterministic, meaning it's a predictable. But AI is a machine, but it's also probabilistic.
Absolutely.
At the same time, I also think is there really 100% a perfect correct answer to a lot of things? So that's if we say personalization, who can guess my preference 100% accurate?
Absolutely.
So that's a very interesting point, but at the same time, it probably come with the nature of intelligence, come with the nature of truly interacting with a human.
I really like that thought. You mentioned before a couple of times also personalization at Zalando. Is personalization the biggest AI topic for you? Is it the kind of biggest driver of the business, or what are the ways that you integrate AI into what you do?
I'm not sure we can say the biggest driver, but it is definitely one of the important things for our customer. Is on one hand, being able to see them as themselves and then serve them in a way they truly need. On the other hand, bringing the knowledge that is common across the board for everyone. So that's the combination. It is fashion is fashion. The trend is what is trendy is a fact. At the same time, whether it suits you, in what way it would suit you. How can I help you have fun with a fashion? What's your need? That's a hyper personal. So that's why, to really serve our customer, personalization is needed. And the charm and the challenge of a platform is that we interact with millions of customers. And without AI, you wouldn't be able to personalize for everyone. You couldn't have a sales associate behind the scene for millions of customers simultaneously. So that's why it's one of the most important things for our customer to be seen as themselves and serve in a personalized way. At the same time, it's one of the most challenging thing. Cannot be possible without AI.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that AI is really enabling as a functionality on the platform. And I also really liked your thought that it probably, especially for fashion, you have a very personal component attached to it. Like, I don't know, maybe for example, if I'm shopping a washing machine, like personalization is maybe not that important, but in fashion and in your personal preferences, in how you kind of express yourself to the outside world, it's probably a very, very big factor. So I assume that Zalando is already a bit like on the journey with machine learning and AI, like probably for multiple years now. What were maybe some lessons that you have learned in this kind of process of implementing AI really in your, I mean, it's in your core product, in your core value creation at the end of the day. What were some interesting lessons that you have learned in this time?
I think number one is solve a problem worth solving, which is very important. And then if you are in a customer-facing function, then it's really about solving a customer problem. If you are working with brand partners, it's really about how you can leverage AI to help our brand partners. And then, of course, if you are in HR, you are helping our associates. It's about helping your customer, which is our associate. I think the number one lessons learned is to start with a real problem worth solving. And then if you truly solve it, it automatically have impact and value.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. Another one is you have to quickly iterate because you cannot know everything ahead of time before you actually try. And for technology and user behavior evolving so fast, and you really have to iterate with a user and then try out technology. An example, nowadays, how many of us using ChatGPT? 2 years ago, this was something just happening.
That was actually be a follow-up question having right now, because how quick have you implemented like generative AI as a technology? I mean, it emerged, what was it, end of 2022, I think, November or December 2022 release of ChatGPT. Then, like a couple of months later, there was this massive blow up. How quickly have you, or what was the kind of process of taking a look at it, thinking about it? Okay, how does it make sense? How is it compatible? How do we bring it to the platform? Maybe you can describe how you approached it.
We were one of the first, if not the first, rolled out a customer-facing assistant that based on the OpenAI technology in the e-commerce world. And we were quite prepared because we had this customer problem in our mind for a long time. We were looking for solutions, but none of the existing solution can truly solve the problem to support our customer to discover fashion, lifestyle, and Zalando in a way that we really meet them with their need in a human-like way, not a toolbox, a mechanical way. So we were prepared with this customer problem, and we were looking for a solution. So when the OpenAI release gained a broad understanding and then really user resonate with it, we see the opportunity. So we started prototyping around April. We put together a very simple but telling prototype within 2 weeks. Wow. And we started to internal test in a few more weeks. Then we started our external testing with invited sign up customers. And then by around August, we started the external testing. So from April to August, and then OpenAI release was December. By February, it's well known. So it was a very quick pace back then. Nowadays, I'm not sure a few months is qualified as a quick anymore, but I think that's the speed when you see a solution that really addressing your customer problem, and you also don't know how exactly customer going to use it. That's where you need to really rapidly.
How were customers using it? So what were the things that customers were trying out? And
yeah, the hypothesis was that they're going to ask the questions of, how can I dress up for AI week? Ask about outfit, right? So I have a black top. What would be a nice bottom for that, right? So these type of what's the best gift for my husband? And I need something that is budget friendly, but also wow him. So these type of questions hard to solve with a traditional interface. And we have to be humble to say, like, we need to let our customer tell us whether they want to interact this way. And they did. So not only they ask these questions, they also have a true conversation with us back and forth, give us feedbacks, course correcting our suggestions. They are buying with us. They also come to us not just for buying. They ask for advices. Okay. My shoe's too tight. And what should I do? Zalando assistant didn't say buy another pair of shoes. Zalando assistant said you can consider stretch your shoes, and here is how you stretch your shoes. So we're seeing this very interesting relationship surfacing between Zalando and our customer, which never happened before. We're having a conversation. We're building a relationship. And I think that is really the foundation of loyalty to a company. And that loyalty is the foundation for a healthy business.
Very interesting. How do you measure the impact of those kinds of features on your platform?
That is a very interesting question.
Thank you.
I was actually giving the talk about a dilemma we all face. About yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then the sharing is about yesterday is where a lot of our customers still at. They're familiar with yesterday's experience, and we need to keep lights on for them. We need to be diligently serving them. And today is something that we see a lot of things working, and it's a low-hanging fruits for us, no regret move to modernize ourselves because it's a low risk, and then go ahead and do it. It benefit for the business. And then tomorrow is something very hard to predict. There's a lot of unknown of tomorrow, but we also know that tomorrow is what we want to win. Everybody want to compete to be the one for our customer tomorrow. And with this ways of thinking, really, it's you have your measurement for today's success, which is a very typical the health of a company, your financial measure, your cost saving, your on-spot engagement, how much customer engage with you. And then when you're thinking about measurement for a future experience, that's different because the nature of investing into the future is that you're going to see it in the future. You're not going to see it just today yet. If you are seeing that ROI today, that is today's investment. So that's where like you really have to see signs of something new surfacing, something that you bet as would be helpful in the future, would be valuable for our customer in the future, and you are on the path together. So to be short and directly to your question, we measure financial impact. We measure customers' interaction, how actively they interact with us. We measure user growth, and we measure repeated visit, how much they like it. We also measure something new that is emerging, such as this type of relationship that we're building, which we believe is important for the future.
Are you already seeing that in the data, that this type of conversational relationship type shopping experience is gaining momentum?
I think we're internally seeing a pretty stable repeated usage. We're seeing the problem being solved that is complementary to other ways of navigating Zalando. There is also one thing that you can see, not just at Zalando, but also for other agentic interface, is once you started to give suggestions of this product, the conversion rate is higher.
Oh, really?
Because you better understand the customer's need. So if you think about traditionally, customer need to really iterate on what they need. And now, of course, your conversion rate will start with not very high, then to higher and higher when customer figure out what they want. But with agentic interface, the agent and the customer collectively figure out what they want until we have some confidence, then we start suggesting. So it's quite natural to see a little higher conversion rate because you just know the customer needs better before you start suggesting.
That's in general a really interesting topic. This kind of agentic commerce experience that is emerging at the moment. We see it also that OpenAI and ChatGPT is kind of gravitating towards things like that. And I really like your thought about like collectively finding the solution to whatever shopping problem you have, and then also being able to measure the increase in conversion rate. I would like to ask a follow-up question about that. So when you compare this kind of agentic shopping experience to the traditional shopping experience, like scrolling through product feeds, searching for certain kinds of keywords and stuff like that, how do you see the trajectory of both of those shopping experiences? Do you think that maybe in midterm, like in 5 years or something, the traditional shopping experience will become less relevant, or is it still there, or how are they the two of those interconnected, in your opinion?
I stopped predicting the future ever since this technologies have changed because I used to say, I think in 2 years this will be solved, and then 6
maybe
months
remove
it's
the
solved.
number of years from my question, and we just talk about the future in general.
I think the traditional interface still serve a pretty good purpose. Just like people like treasure hunt, for example, people like to go to the physical store. Even though online shopping is so much leveraged, many people are already used to it. There's still joy to go to the physical store. There's still joy to look through many products and then find your own way. At the same time, I think agentic really is about delegation. So things that agent can help you do, you don't have to do it yourself. And then we can think about many scenarios that we could use a bit more help, a bit more support instead of figuring out everything ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's where not even just e-commerce, so people who are familiar with interacting with Perplexity, with ChatGPT, you can see like how much you can already delegate to this agent, help you do research, help you figure out problems.
Have you seen any kind of like signal on the platform that people are purchasing autonomously by agents? Have you already seen something like, for example, I go to my ChatGPT, how's it called, the product where it controls the browser, and just say, okay, go to Zalando and buy me a new pair of white sneakers. Have you already seen signals in that direction? Do you see that agents are purchasing on the platform?
So in US, agents are, it's not, that's why like the agentic e-commerce just start emerging. It's not exactly delegation yet. And of course, there's a lot of safety ethics debate about it. I think it's just starting. It's about you can purchase after you have all this discussion and conversation on spot. Technology hasn't been smooth for that delegation yet. So we're not really seeing how people would react to delegation in terms of purchasing yet. But we can see everywhere people are delegating research to the agent, especially after they start to be able to reason. So the deep research is where there's different levels of AI. Conversation is one of the early stage you see intelligence, and then the later one is being able to solve a complex task. And that's where like you can see the AI, even ChatGPT, you can see decomposing the task, execute one by one, find out something self-correcting. And that's where it's interacting with you, answering questions, and especially helpful when they're doing deep research. And you can see people dedicating that already. It's about how mature technology is advancing in this front and how comfortable people are. There's a little trust
Yes,
in it as well.
absolutely. I think also this, for example, if we also talk about agentic commerce, this, let's say, transition or transfer of trust from me as an autonomous human being to the machine, performing purchases, using my credit card. I think let's see how long that will take. And I mean, there's always like a group of first adopters that will already or very quickly use it. But I think it makes a difference if I'm adopting a, let's say, chat interface like ChatGPT, or I'm saying, okay, here's my credit card. See you later. Yeah? I think let's see how quickly that will manifest in the market.
I find it always helpful to do some of these thought exercise when I think one is do it all by myself. The other one is I delegate to you, not AI, but I delegate to another person. How many of us are comfortable with giving somebody our credit card and go buy it with for us, and then we delegate to AI? That's probably a very helpful way to calibrate our
I think
thoughts.
that's let's maybe stay for 1 second in that thought experiment. So I think that, for example, if I just give a person my credit card, I might be having a worse feeling than if I gave it to AI, because I know that even though the AI is a kind of a probabilistic machine, it probably will stick to the plan somehow, right? So it will not just go. If I say buy it on Zalando, it will probably not go to whatever Otto or any other competitor. It will probably go to Zalando and will probably search for it, and it will probably, to some kind of probability, it will actually perform the task. I think that when you give it to like a random human, the uncertainty involved is even higher than with the machine at the end of the day, because I would argue that you can probably control an AI system better than a human being, because a human being is even more like autonomous and random in his actions and thoughts at the end of the day. Yeah? But let's see how that will turn out. I would like to conclude this interview with one question that I also ask all of the people that I speak to during the week. What is the kind of one thing that AI should be solving, like either for you or for humanity or society or whatever? What is the one thing that you really care about AI trying to solve or solving in the future?
There are many things that I really have a high hope that AI can help us. The one, medicine, another energy, and also education, really democratizing education. But if I have to pick one, there is a little bit background bias. So my education, my PhD, all in medical research. So I really think, and there's a reason I went into AI domain after medical research education. I really think with AI's help, there is a faster way for us to help with people's medical problems, make us all healthier, alleviate the pain. that when we get unhealthy and then make all of our life better, right? Nothing more sad than lose a loved one, and nothing more precious than being able to be healthy and spend time with our loved ones. And I see the limitation of only going with the traditional way of research. And it's not just me. Many people are seeing what AI can do, the drug development, finding drug binding site. Yep. We can see how fast AI can help us solve some of these topics. So I do have a very high hope this would be one of the domains that people can see benefit of
Absolutely.
AI.
And to conclude this from my side, going back to one of the first questions, this is one of the reasons why I think that AI is completely underrated at the moment, because I think at this point in time, people mostly care about the, let's say, economic impact of the technology, like how businesses can be more productive, increase conversion rate, or whatever metric you're looking at, where probably the real impact of AI is more on a level of science. Let's put it like like science, and would say medicine is also maybe part of the of the sciences itself. I think this is where actually AI will probably unfold its largest impact on our daily lives in the future. And I mean, economic impact is important, and it will also change a lot there. But if you would rank like the impact categories, it will probably also on this level. This is why I absolutely subscribe to that thought. Thank you very much for this extremely interesting conversation. Have a great day here at the AI Week, and safe travels back to Berlin, probably. Thank you very much for attending and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the conversation as well.
Thank
a
you.
lot of thought-provoking questions.
Thank you. If you want to see more interesting content about AI, all of the presentations from AI Week, all of the keynotes, all of the panel discussions, go to our website and check out the videos.